March 1st, 2026, Day 2. The strikes didn't stop, the retaliation didn't end, and now American blood has been spilled. 3 U.S. service members dead, 5 more seriously wounded, the first combat casualties of Operation Epic Fury. Iran's Revolutionary Guards aren't backing down. They're escalating. Missiles screaming across the Gulf, drones swarming U.S. bases, oil tankers hit in international waters. And in Tehran, fresh explosions. Israel launched a new wave of strikes overnight, targeting what's left of Iran's command structure, hunting survivors. President Trump confirmed what military officials had been reporting throughout the day. 48 Iranian leaders eliminated in one operation. Not just Supreme Leader Khamenei, not just his top advisors, 48 senior officials gone. The Islamic Republic's entire leadership structure decapitated. But Iran is fighting back. Cost is mounting. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. 20% of global oil supplies blocked. Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest hub, shut down. Oil tankers burning in the Gulf, stock markets halted, energy prices about to explode. And across America, support is cracking. Only 1 in 4 Americans approve of the strikes. This is day 2 of the biggest military gamble in modern history, and it's spiraling into something no one predicted. Sunday morning, 6:42 a.m., Tehran time. Explosions tear through the Iranian capital again. Fresh strikes. Israeli F-35s and U.S. bombers hitting targets across the city. This time, the focus is different. Not nuclear sites, not missile bases. Command centers, intelligence facilities, Revolutionary Guard headquarters. Israel is hunting survivors. Anyone who escaped Saturday's initial assault. Anyone trying to rebuild Iran's shattered leadership. Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani, Israeli military spokesperson, made it clear, "We have the capabilities and the targets to keep going on for as long as necessary." Translation? This isn't stopping. Not today, not tomorrow, maybe not for weeks. Israel claims air superiority over Tehran, complete control of Iranian skies, hundreds of fighter jets rotating in and out, refueling mid-flight, striking around the clock. It's the biggest aerial operation in Israeli history, and it shows no signs of slowing. Smoke rises from multiple districts across Tehran, government buildings, military compounds, infrastructure. Iranian state media report strikes in at least 15 cities now, not just the capital, everywhere. Isfahan, Shiraz, Tabriz, Qom, Karaj, Mashhad. Iran's entire military and governmental structure is under assault, and the damage is catastrophic. But while Israel dominates the skies, Iran controls the seas. And that's where things got deadly. Sunday afternoon, Persian Gulf. Iran's Revolutionary Guards launched what they're calling a coordinated maritime assault, targeting oil tankers, cargo vessels, anything moving through Gulf waters. 3 tankers hit, 2 American flagged, 1 British. The Guards claim direct hits. Video footage, unverified, shows flames erupting from at least 1 vessel. Shipping data confirmed what everyone feared. Hundreds of vessels dropping anchor, refusing to move, waiting for the fighting to stop. Oil tankers, LNG carriers, container ships, all of them sitting idle in nearby waters. Because the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow passage between Iran and the UAE, is now a war zone, Iran has closed it. 20% of the world's oil supply passes through that strait every single day. Crude from Saudi Arabia, natural gas from Qatar, energy that powers Europe, Asia, and beyond. Now, it's blocked. Not by military force, by fear. No ship captain wants to risk sailing through waters where missiles are flying and tankers are burning. Traders are bracing for chaos when markets open Monday. Analysts predict oil prices could jump $15 to $25 per barrel, maybe more if the closure lasts beyond a few days. That means higher gas prices, higher heating costs, inflation spiking just months before U.S. midterm elections. And President Trump knows it, but he's not backing down. Instead, he's escalating. Sunday evening, Trump releases a statement on Truth Social. The United States military has destroyed 9 Iranian warships so far, and we're going after the rest. 9 warships sunk in less than 48 hours. Iran's navy, once a regional threat, is being systematically annihilated. Trump didn't provide details on which ships were destroyed, but U.S. Central Command confirmed strikes on Iran's naval headquarters. The facility, located near Bandar Abbas on Iran's southern coast, was largely obliterated. Command centers flattened, docking facilities destroyed, fuel storage hit. Trump was blunt about the objective. Iran's navy will soon be floating at the bottom of the sea. Other than that, their navy is doing very well. It's total destruction. Not degradation, elimination. But Iran still has one card to play, and they used it. Sunday morning, Arabian Sea. Iran claimed it launched 4 ballistic missiles at the USS Abraham Lincoln, a carrier strike group operating off Iran's coast. State media reported a direct hit. Video showed missiles streaking across the sky toward the ocean. U.S. Central Command immediately denied it. The Abraham Lincoln was not hit. Iranian missiles didn't come close. But the fact that Iran targeted a U.S. aircraft carrier is significant. It shows Tehran is willing to go after America's most powerful assets. The Abraham Lincoln is one of the largest warships ever built, nuclear-powered, carrying 90 aircraft, protected by destroyers equipped with advanced missile defense systems. If Iran actually managed to hit it, the damage would be catastrophic. Thousands of sailors, billions of dollars in equipment, America's naval dominance in the region. But they didn't. The missiles missed, or were intercepted. Either way, the carrier is still operational. And that means U.S. airstrikes continue. But Iran's retaliation isn't just aimed at ships, it's hitting bases and killing Americans. Sunday, 2:17 p.m. Eastern Time, the Pentagon. U.S. Central Command releases a statement. Short, direct, devastating.
3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation.
3 U.S. service members have been killed. 5 more have been seriously wounded. The first American combat deaths of Operation Epic Fury. Details are scarce. Central Command didn't specify where the troops were killed or how, just that they died during ongoing operations. But Iran's Revolutionary Guards have been firing missiles and drones at U.S. bases across the region for 2 days straight. President Trump had warned this could happen. On Saturday, he said,
"The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now, we're doing this for the future. And it is a noble mission."
Now, it's reality. 3 families just lost someone. 5 more are waiting to hear if their loved ones will survive. And across America, support for the operation is crumbling. Sunday afternoon, Reuters/Ipsos poll results. Only 25% of Americans approve of the strike on Iran. 1 in 4. That's historically low for a military operation. Even controversial wars usually start with higher public support before declining over time. Trump says the goal is preventing Iran from getting nuclear weapons, eliminating the ballistic missile threat, ending support for terrorist groups. But how does that happen? Through airstrikes alone? Without ground forces? Without occupation? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is driving opposition. Meanwhile, Trump gave an interview to Fox News, and he revealed the scale of what's been accomplished. 48 leaders are gone in one shot. Nobody can believe the success we're having. 48. That's not just Khamenei. That's nearly the entire upper tier of Iran's government and military. According to intelligence sources who spoke to CBS News earlier, the strikes killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Defense Minister Aziz Nasirzadeh, Revolutionary Guard Commander Mohammad Pakpour, Security Council Secretary Ali Shamkhani, Head of Khamenei's military office Mohammad Shirazi, senior intelligence officers, IRGC commanders, political officials, advisors, and dozens more. It's decapitation on a scale never before seen in modern warfare. But it gets worse. For Khamenei's family, it was personal. Saturday's strike didn't just kill the Supreme Leader. It killed his daughter, his granddaughter, his daughter-in-law, his son-in-law. All of them were in the compound when the bombs hit. None of them survived. Iranian state media confirmed it. Khamenei was working in his office at the time. His family was nearby. The building was obliterated. That level of destruction is intentional. The U.S. and Israel want to ensure there were no survivors, no one who could escape and rebuild. Total elimination. And it worked. But now Iran faces a problem. Who's in charge? Sunday morning, Tehran. President Masoud Pezeshkian announces the formation of a temporary leadership council. Iranian law requires it. When the supreme leader dies, power doesn't automatically transfer to anyone. There's no vice president, no designated successor. Instead, a 3-person council takes over. The council includes 1. The sitting president, Masoud Pezeshkian, reformist. 2. The judiciary chief, Gholam Hussein Mohseni Ejei, a hardliner. 3. A cleric selected by the Guardian Council. 3 people, different ideologies, supposed to guide Iran through its worst crisis since the 1980s Iran-Iraq War. It's a fragile arrangement, and everyone knows it. Meanwhile, the Assembly of Experts, a body of 88 senior clerics, is legally required to choose a new supreme leader, quote, as soon as possible. But what does as soon as possible mean during a war? The Assembly can't meet safely. Tehran is under bombardment. Half the senior officials who would normally participate are dead. And even if they could meet, there's no consensus on who should lead. Hardliners want someone who will continue Khamenei's policies: confrontation with the West, support for proxy forces, nuclear defiance. Reformists want someone who will negotiate, end the war, open dialogue with Washington. The Revolutionary Guards want someone who will protect their interests, their power, their control over Iran's economy and security apparatus. All of these factions are competing, and none of them trust each other. This is the power vacuum Trump was hoping for. The moment when internal divisions could fracture the regime. But it's also the moment when things could get worse. Because desperate regimes do desperate things. Inside Iran, the reaction to Khamenei's death is split. In some cities, mourners fill the streets, dressed in black, weeping, beating their chests in grief. Footage from Tehran shows thousands packed into a square. State television broadcasts images of people crying, holding portraits of Khamenei, chanting prayers. For them, Khamenei was more than a political leader. He was a religious figure, the successor to Ayatollah Khamenei, founder of the Islamic Republic. His death is a tragedy, a violation, an attack on their faith. But in other cities, the response is completely different. Videos posted on social media, verified by Reuters, show celebrations. In Delaran, a city in Ilam province, protesters topple a statue, people cheering as it crashes to the ground. In Karaj, near Tehran, crowds dance in the streets, fireworks explode overhead, music blares. In Izeh, Khuzestan province, young people wave the old pre-1979 Iranian flag, the one used before the Islamic Revolution, the one that represents secular Iran. These are the same people who protested in January, who demanded an end to the regime, who were shot down by security forces. For them, Khamenei's death is liberation, beginning the end. The celebrations are brief, because the regime is still armed. The Revolutionary Guards are still operational, and they're cracking down. Internet blackout, social media blocked, arrests. Iran's government knows the danger. If protests spread, if the military fractures, if the people rise up while the leadership is in chaos, the regime collapses. So, they're doing what they always do: suppression, force, control. But the question is, do they still have the strength? Internationally, reactions are pouring in. Russian President Vladimir Putin condemned Khamenei's death as a cynical murder. Moscow has been Iran's closest ally, supplier of weapons, diplomatic shield at the UN. Putin's statement signals that Russia isn't abandoning Iran, but it also doesn't promise military intervention, just words. China's foreign minister Wang Yi called the killing blatant. Beijing buys more Iranian oil than any other country. China depends on stable energy flows from the Gulf. But like Russia, China isn't sending troops, just diplomatic support. Meanwhile, protests erupt in Pakistan and Iraq. In Karachi, Pakistan, demonstrators breached the outer walls of the U.S. consulate. Police opened fire. 9 people killed. In Baghdad, Iraq, protesters gather outside the Green Zone where the U.S. embassy is located. Police fire tear gas and stun grenades to disperse them. Both countries have significant Shiite populations. For many Shiites, Khamenei was a religious leader, not just a politician. His death is an attack on their faith. That anger is real, and it could spread. Across the Gulf, economic chaos. The UAE halts its stock market for 2 days. Dubai and Abu Dhabi exchanges close Monday and Tuesday. Why? Because UAE cities are under attack. Iranian missiles hit Abu Dhabi. Drones struck Dubai. 3 people killed. Businesses can't operate normally when air raid sirens are going off. Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest international hub, remains closed. Hundreds of flights canceled. Thousands of passengers stranded. It's one of the biggest aviation disruptions in recent years, and it's costing billions. Meanwhile, safe haven currencies are surging. The Japanese yen, the Swiss franc. Investors fleeing risk, seeking stability. Oil traders are preparing for Monday's market open. Brent crude could hit $100 per barrel, maybe higher. Every day the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, prices climb, and American consumers feel it at the pump. Trump's political opponents are already attacking. Democrats in Congress demanding answers. Why wasn't there congressional authorization? What's the endgame? How long will this last? Representative Yasemin Ansari, an Iranian-American Democrat, called Khamenei.
So let me be very clear. I have spent my entire life opposing the Islamic Republic and its brutality, and I celebrate the death of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei.
But she demanded a clear path forward.
I am deeply concerned by President Trump's decision to launch an illegal war, because it is in fact illegal, against Iran without congressional authorization and without presenting a clear plan to the American people.
Because right now, there isn't one. Trump encouraged Iranians to take over your government. But popular uprisings don't happen on command. And even if they did, who would lead? Iran doesn't have a government in exile. No opposition leader recognized internationally. No clear alternative to the Islamic Republic. So what happens if the regime collapses? Chaos, fragmentation, maybe civil war. And in the middle of that chaos, who controls Iran's remaining nuclear materials, ballistic missiles, its chemical weapons stockpiles? Nobody knows. And that's terrifying. Trump claims Iran's leadership wants to talk. In an interview with The Atlantic magazine, he said they've reached out and he's agreed. Iran's leadership wanted to talk to me and I agreed, Trump said. But who is Iran's leadership now? The Temporary Council? The Revolutionary Guards? Regional commanders acting independently? The answer isn't clear, and negotiations without a unified Iranian government are meaningless. Meanwhile, Israel keeps striking, the U.S. keeps bombing, Iran keeps retaliating. World breath. So here's the question. 48 leaders eliminated, Supreme Leader dead, Iran's military crippled, but 3 Americans killed, oil supplies disrupted, a regional war spreading. Was it worth it? Is this making America safer or creating a bigger mess than before? And what happens next? Drop your answer in the comments, because this is far from over. If you made it this far, hit like and subscribe. We're tracking every development as it happens. Real-time updates. No speculation, just facts. And if you want to support the channel, join the fleet. Loyalty badges, priority coverage, exclusive analysis. Click join and get on board. Day 2 is ending, but the bombs are still falling. Iran is still fighting back, and nobody knows when this ends. I'll see you in the next one.